Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So Piers Morgan, yes, that Piers Morgan is no longer part of Good Morning Britain. And the reason why I'm making this video, why it's of relevance to vegans, is because, as you may or may not know, Piers Morgan is a huge anti-vegan. I think it's pretty conservative of me to say he's put out a big stream of hatred against vegans, against veganism, and just general misinformation about vegans. So I, for one, am not sad whatsoever that his primary voice of Good Morning Britain is no longer available to him to put out such hate and misinformation. And I don't want to get into the whole controversy of why he's no longer on Good Morning Britain, but it has to do with some insensitive remarks he recently made about Meghan Markle. And here's a clip of him on Good Morning Britain with his own weatherman calling him out on these comments.
Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, maybe not my.
No.
See you later.
I'm being.
Sorry.
So this video is a tribute of sorts to Piers Morgan, so we could remember forever all his best moments of saying completely stupid, mean, hateful things about vegans.
I have begun to realise that some vegans are becoming sort of radical fundamentalists when it comes to veganism, which I find increasingly irritating.
And likewise, Piers, most vegans I know find you completely irritating because of all the lies and misinformation that you spread about veganism. For example, let's check out Piers here going off about bread. He thinks it's somehow incompatible that vegans eat bread. It somehow debunks veganism.
How many of you eat bread? A serious question.
Yeah, we all eat bread.
You all eat bread. So you're aware that how bread gets made, right? Ladybirds, bugs, things, mice, rats, all these other little creatures that are in the crop, they get destroyed in the production of wheat crops, right? So that you guys can munch your bread.
You're aware that in the process of wheat manufacture and bread making, that literally billions of insects get murdered.
Really, Piers? Billions?
Billions.
Tell me the difference, ideologically, between me wanting a Christmas turkey and you guys eating bread, which you know involves the slaughter of millions of young critters.
So much wrong with what Piers is saying here. First, he's trying to say there's some kind of moral equivalency between slaughtering animals for every meal, every day, day in and day out, making that equivalent with some accidental harm that may or may not happen when foods are harvested in fields. Remember, non-vegans eat bread and wheat and all these other foods that use combine harvesters, and I've made many videos that show not that many animals get harmed, not billions. Animals aren't stupid. When they see a loud, noisy, big machine coming at them, they run away. Anyway, fortunately, Piers' guests give very good, cogent responses, making him look like the dumbass he is.
Veganism is not about perfection. It's about doing the best that you can. If you look at animal agriculture, it is the single biggest cause of climate change, global warming, deforestation. By far more animals are being hurt through animal agriculture. And what we're doing is we're doing our best.
I appreciate the point where you're suggesting that the insects are being killed, but what we need to realise is the intent behind it. Nobody's intending to kill insects necessarily for us to eat bread. However, when you're eating a steak or whatever, the intent is very much there. You're deliberately killing the animal.
No, but hang on.
We wouldn't leave our house because every time we walk, you could be, for example, stepping on an ant.
But that's the problem with being a
I could be
vegan.
sitting on an ant right now.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but we can't. There's certain things you cannot help.
Yes, those are all wonderful responses to Piers' nonsense. And let's go back to what those young ladies said at the beginning there about how veganism is not about perfection, and if an animal or a bug gets harmed while wheat is being harvested, that doesn't somehow make veganism null and void. And notice what Piers is doing there. I really hate when non-vegans and when anti-vegans take it upon themselves to define veganism in such a strict way that's impossible. As the young gentleman pointed out to him, yeah, I mean, I could be sitting on a bug right now, but it's not my intent. There might be some accidental harm, but that doesn't make veganism null and void.
We cannot continue to consume meat in the way we do because children are starving.
So why don't all vegans live longer than meat eaters?
I bet I live longer than you do.
How much? How much? How much? I bet you £1,000 I outlive you.
Oh, snap!
OK.
Yeah?
We'll
Go
shake on it.
Go
yeah.
on. £1,000 says I outlive this joke.
This just shows how immature and uninformed Piers Morgan is about veganism. Immature to make such a stupid bet like that. And uninformed, does he really think that vegans are somehow missing nutrients and we don't live healthy lives? In fact, the data says otherwise. If Piers had looked this up a little bit, done a little homework, he'd see that people who follow vegan and plant-based diets have a lower risk of dying of the most common forms of death, such as heart attack, diabetes, stroke, and the most common forms of cancer. But anyway, let's move on. This next segment's really going to get some of you. Piers is just being a complete total ass when he tries some vegan food on air.
Are these what are these? The sausages or the vegan ones? What
These
are
are the vegan ones.
Yeah.
Vegan ones?
See, you can barely tell the difference.
I can tell.
I mean, they stink, right?
No,
for one,
they're delicious.
Right?
Oh, really? Vegan food stinks. Last time I checked, vegan food doesn't smell like Piers Morgan BO.
They're delicious, actually.
Because they've got the same seasoning.
Ooh, God.
The vegetarian sausage is nicely flavoured.
Oh, really, Piers? You just happen to have a trash can right at your feet there to pull up at a moment's notice in case you bit into that vegan sausage and you found it so disagreeable that it forced you to hurl. I really doubt that. I'm sure that's just all for theatrics, just to make vegan food seem bad, while at the same time trying to lift him up as some kind of defender of the non-vegan food world. Lame.
Vegan Happy Meals at McDonald's, because everyone goes to McDonald's to be healthy, don't they? Pizza Hut's gone vegan too, because we all go to get a pizza to lose weight and be healthy. This is complete gastronomic appropriation.
The nonsense is strong in this one. Again, he tries to define veganism on his own terms. If you look up the actual definition of veganism, it doesn't say it's a weight loss diet or even a healthy diet, even though it can be both of those if you do it in a certain way. I think that's how we do it personally, but it's not about that. It's about saving animals, not harming animals. But anyway, let's get to these comments he made about fast food, vegan food, which he's all complaining about Pizza Hut and Greg's sausages, which he vomited to the can. He thinks he can make such statements and get away with it, but when they call him out back on their own social media, he plays the victim. So let me get this right. So Piers can make all the mean, hateful statements he wants about vegans and vegan food, but as soon as someone calls him out, it damages his precious mental health and he's the victim. I mean, such narcissist thinking. And Piers' ignorance and misinformation and just pure stupidity gets even worse, which was on full display when he had Joey Carbstrong on his show, where Piers is saying it's essentially the same thing, whether you kill an animal and stab it in the neck to eat it, or eat a carrot, because plants have feelings, just like animals.
Where does calcium come from? Plants, originally. How does the cow get the calcium in their body? Plants. We can get calcium from plants.
What have you got against plants? Plants are living things.
They're not sentient. They don't have a central
How do you
nervous
know?
system. Do you think stabbing a puppy dog in the throat is the same as cutting up a carrot?
How do you know what plants feel?
Because they don't have a brain or a central nervous
they're
system.
living things?
They're living, but they're not sentient.
You don't mind slaughtering living plants?
Yes, Piers, newsflash, vegans eat living things, except we eat plants, which by definition cannot be slaughtered. Pulling a carrot out of the ground is not the same thing as killing an animal.
Are you against animal cruelty?
I'm against animal cruelty.
Of course. To kill animals for a product we don't need is cruel.
So basically, this is just a big logical beatdown at the hands of Joey Carbstrong, and Piers had nothing else to do other than go for cheap, low personal attacks on Joey.
You don't believe in harming other human beings?
I don't believe in harming other human beings or animals, no.
So in September 2011, you were arrested when police found a loaded, sawn-off pump-action
rifle. Character attack.
No,
Has this got anything to do with the topic at hand?
Well, okay.
It's a character attack.
Oh.
It's true. I was incarcerated for something I did in my past. I used to consume animal products 3 times a day as well. So I was harming animals and humans, okay? But I changed my life around and now I'm vegan. Now, just because I did something wrong in the past doesn't mean I can't do something right now. How does that justify your abuse of dairy cows so you can have milk in your coffee?
As dumb as Piers may seem about veganism, I'm certain he knows what an ad hominem fallacy is there, which he just committed. An ad hominem attack is when you attack the person's character rather than their logic, their argument, their evidence. It's just a logical fallacy. It has nothing to do with what's up for discussion. And leave it to Piers to commit at least 2 ad hominem fallacies here.
In March 2016, right?
Yeah.
When, alongside the video entitled Ethical Hunters Deserve a Bullet in the Head, you wrote, I hope one of these bleeps accidentally shoot one of their own family members in the face.
Keyword.
That was 2 years ago.
2016.
2 years
when
ago.
I first went vegan and I seen people hunting innocent animals. If they were hunting dogs, have you ever seen dog cruelty videos in the comments
But you just
section?
said you renounce violence, so you...
Right now.
You wouldn't say that...
This is 2018.
Yeah.
I've changed my advocacy.
Do you renounce all violence against, for instance, the farming industry or butcher shops?
I've never advocated for violence to spread a peaceful message.
And lastly, we'll look at some of Piers' misinformed prejudice against vegan diets, how he believes that it's impossible for a world-class athlete to not eat meat.
Novak Djokovic, clearly an elite tennis player. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the definition
tennis players
of muscle man.
Yeah, but tennis players are quite weak, aren't they? And where are you from, sir?
Germany.
Germany, okay. Yeah, well, Germany, I mean, everybody eats meat in Germany, right?
Not everybody.
But your basic strength came from eating meat.
You can't really say that.
I just said that. But basically, your residual strength came from meat eating.
No.
Yeah, How old are you now?
I'm now 40.
You're 40, so for 30 years of your life, you ate meat.
No, I was 20.
But you just said you hadn't eaten meat for 10 years.
I was 26 when I went vegetarian.
There's plenty of people that have been vegan and bodybuilders. They've been their whole life they've been vegan.
Name me one bodybuilder who's been a vegan, professional bodybuilder, who's been a vegan from the day they were born.
Jahina Malik.
There we go.
Jahina Malik. She's a female bodybuilder.
Where's she from?
The States.
She's been a vegan from the day she was born?
Absolutely.
So her parents starved her of meat when she was young?
Yeah. They didn't starve her of meat. They gave her better fuel.
When did you last eat meat?
7 years ago.
So how old are you?
41.
Wow. So for 34 years you were a meat eater?
Correct. I made a mistake.
You made a mistake for 34 years?
Well, you know, we're led to believe that we need meat to be strong and healthy, and it's just completely not true.
And by the way, guys, that was James Lightning Wilkes and Patrick Baboumian on the set of Good Morning Britain to promote the Game Changers documentary a couple of years back. So anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are of Piers being deplatformed here. Or some critics would call it cancellation. No, he walked out. He wasn't fired after 41,000 viewers, including Meghan Markle, contacted Good Morning Britain about his insensitive comments. There was a meeting and it was decided that Piers would no longer be on the shows before all the cancel culture critics start chiming in here. But I'm perfectly happy with him being gone. I'm not sure what he says when he's not talking about veganism, but when he talks about veganism, as you see, are just misinformation, hateful stuff. And then when people call him out on it, he cries victim. It's just complete. He's not contributing anything positive to the world when it comes to veganism, just all negative. So if this is what it takes to get rid of him forever from Good Morning Britain, I'm 100% for it. So let me know what you guys think. Leave your questions and comments down below. Hit like, share this video with every vegan, and let them know they don't have to hear from Piers Morgan anymore on TV. And until next time, guys, let's keep it vegan.
When does the pain